Hey losers. Right, where is my train of thought? Today I asked you on my TikTok again to give me some trans questions to answer. So I feel like doing a video. And here they are. I'm gonna read them out. I'm gonna give you some replies. I'm gonna give you some advice. I'm gonna give you some tips. I'm gonna give you my perspective. I'm gonna give you the works. You'll get in it today. I want to say before this though, if sorry, I opened the app and I forgot it was connected to my speaker. Where was I? Yeah, I'm gonna answer some questions. This is just from my perspective though. If you have a different perspective, let me know in the comments. Let me know how you would answer these. I want to say beforehand though, if you enjoy this and you have questions of your own or you want more content from me, please go follow my TikTok, also my Instagram, because I don't have like any followers there and it's not very good. Okay, let's jump into it. Ooh. Okay, our first one comes from S7EvanT70, maybe. How do you know if you're trans, or more like, how do I know what I am? I think I had a few comments like this, being like, how do I know when I'm trans? How do I know for sure? I even had one saying, how young did you start knowing you were trans? So this is my perspective, this is my story. I kind of always knew I was a boy. I remember being very, very young and deciding suddenly, oh, I want to be a boy for the week. That's what I'm doing this week. That's my plans. I remember being like around one of my friends' houses and I told their mum, and their mum was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I'll drink to that. And yeah, I basically asked them to just call me Sam for a week. That was my name, pre-deciding I wasn't Sam. I would have been called Sam if I kept up that. Imagine that. Yeah, no, I always kind of knew. I think I talked about this in my last video. There was one time where I was with this boy in my year. This was maybe like year 5, year 6, and we were playing on this like climbing this tree that you can kind of sit on top in our like school playground. And he was like, "Oh my god, you're so cool, you're practically a boy." And I was like, "I am practically a boy." you got that. You got that in the bag, you're right. For me though, I didn't think of it as being trans, I just thought of it as being a boy. I realised that I wasn't a girl way before I realised what being trans was. It was never the concept of like, oh, you're this thing, you're in this box. It was just like, I don't want to be over here, you know? I don't want to be labelled as a girl. And that was always such like a strong force for me that I would oppose anything like that. I mean, I liked feminine dresses, I like dressing femme, I still do now. That doesn't make me any less or more of a man, doesn't matter. I guess that's all to say that for me personally, I just knew. I guess that applies to a lot of people, when you know, you know. I think it's just something you need to like have a think through. If you're on the fence, I would recommend, I don't know, maybe ask some close friends if they can call you by this name and this pronouns for a while. Say, hey, I'm kind of figuring it all out. Is it cool if we trial this? Is it cool if we just do this like for one day? Is it cool if you just call me this now, you know? See how it sounds to you. I think you need to remember that gender doesn't have to be binary if you don't want it to be binary. For a lot of people, gender is kind of like a pick and mix. That's how I view gender. You might like a lot of the blue sweets, you might like a lot of the pink sweets, you might like the little gummy worms. I don't know, you know? It's not just one thing, you know? It could be you're a woman, but you like masculine terms. You like being called strong and handsome, and queerness is crazy and there's so much to it, and you don't have to be defined by one thing. But I would say, yeah, try it. I think for some people, when you know, you know. For some people, it's when you know, you have to think about it for a while, and then after a while you kind of know. I don't know. You got this. How do I say bleh? How do I make myself more masc? And then someone also asked, do you have any tips on how to pass better? I do have some tips on how to pass better. They're in my last video. If you want to go check that out, I will link it below. I'll put it up here, maybe, if I can remember to when I upload this. I go through some tips and some tricks that I use. I answer some questions on passing that might help you. The main ones I'd say are baggy clothes, getting a masculine kind of body shape built up, lowering your voice if you can, I don't know. Where to get a binder? Okay. So I have never gotten mine firsthand, partially because I've never been able to afford it, and partially because I like wearing secondhand clothing. I just think it's better for the environment personally. So I think first you gotta kind of look into different brands, because even if you buy it second hand, you still gotta look into the brand. If you, how do I explain this? So there's a few main brands. There's GC2B, Spectrum Outfitters. There's probably a few more, but I don't know them. Personally, my favourites are Spectrum Outfitters. That's what I got on now. I think they're very supportive. They're very well made, very good quality. They're very easy to slip into. GC2B, not so much anymore. Before they used to be quite good. If you find a listing for a binder you really like on, I don't know, Depop, that's where I got one of mine. Yeah, I would ask when it was made if it's GC2B. If it was made before, I'd say 2021, it's probably good. Yeah, where to get them though? You can either get them online, like on their online websites. You can get them on Depop, maybe eBay, any secondhand clothing website that you go to. I would check. There's probably a lot of queer secondhand clothing websites. I know that in a lot of areas they have a special binder giveaway service. That's what I have in my area. We have a special, you go in and you trade your old one for a new one. Get in touch with your community. If you're in a space where you're unable to buy one for money reasons or because you might be in danger, I would get in touch with your local queer community if there's some kind of queer group, queer action. See who's around. Maybe you might have friends who might have one to hand down. Yeah, that's my advice. This person said, do you like bacon? Which is unrelated to the trans thing, but I do like bacon, and I know you got that from my live, because I was live earlier on TikTok, and I was eating bacon, so thank you. If you want to see me eat more bacon on my TikTok, please go follow me and go watch my lives. How can I bind and do sport? Okay, don't. If you do get a binder, obviously look at the rules. Don't be unsafe, don't be stupid, don't break your lungs. I would advocate for, if you're doing some kind of sporting event, if you're doing some kind of sport, wear a sports bra, wear a well supportive sports bra, one that really resonates with you. I would just take a day out to go shopping and try some on, because some of them will be very hit or miss. Find one that works for you. I said this in my last video, but I think as a trans man who experiences a lot of chest dysphoria, it's really important to have a good sports bra. Even if it's not something you wear out, if it's just you need a break day and you don't want to have them hanging out, you can just I don't know, you can breathe, but you can also have them kind of hidden. If you're doing some kind of sport and you want to have a flatter looking chest, I would just recommend wearing dark clothing, wearing baggier clothing, wearing something that covers, or some kind of clothing with a brand name on, or a image, so it kind of makes you not look at the shape. Do you like being trans? I'm trans and I have mixed feelings about it. I think this is a really complicated question. I don't hate being trans. I don't enjoy it in the modern day, but I don't have any kind of hatred for who I am and where I've come from. I think that there's things about masculinity that I enjoy a lot more because I am trans, and I'm happy I get that experience. I don't like parts of being trans. I don't like the dysphoria. Obviously, no one does. I don't like how people react about it. I don't like the experience I've had with being trans with my family. That hasn't been very fun. I don't like being trans at work because people at work tend to misgender me and that kind of sucks. But I don't hate that I am trans because that's a huge part of my identity and it makes me who I am, and it's not something I can change, you know? I'm sure when I get the surgeries, when I get on testosterone, when I get everything fixed and feeling right for me, I will be very happy about being trans. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's something you have to adjust to. It's kind of like being neurodivergent. It's kind of I don't know. It's not a bad thing that you are this, it's a bad thing that society hasn't come around to this. I think you need to have a lot of acceptance for yourself. Because I mean, it sucks, and I get that. And you will have a phase at some point where you're like, I really hate that I'm this. I wish I was cis. But you're never going to be cis. You need to just be happy and find a community that is happy. And I don't know, I think it's great that I'm trans, because it's I've opened myself up to so many people, and I think I have such a different perspective on gender, masculinity, on how to refer to people, respect, self-respect. I feel like the way that I think around identity, I think it's given me a lot of acceptance with people as well. I think if I wasn't trans, if I wasn't bi, queer, I would have a very different perspective on alternative people, which isn't great. It's just like the way I've been raised, the communities I've been in, pre-transitioning. Because I am different, I understand difference. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think in a few years' time, or however long, when you're all figured out and your body feels right, and I think you'll be happy, and I think I'll be happy. I think it's fine. I think it's good to be trans. Being trans is great. I had one comment that I've lost. I don't think it was actually on the video that... Oh, okay. This person asked in a very confusing way. They said, if a guy goes to women, then likes men, are they gay? And I was very confused. And they clarified and said, so, like, if the man transforms to a woman but likes men, are they gay?
Clap if you feel safe. Oh.
This feels like a very silly question. I don't love questions like these. I think they're a bit like, they're a woman, so... But obviously this is very new for some people, so I will spell it out. If someone transitions from one gender to the other, they are that gender. You know, when I was born a woman, and I didn't decide, I, said to myself one day, I hate this, let's not be this anymore, and I transitioned into a man. That doesn't mean that my liking of men makes me straight still. I think you just have to look at it as if, like, they're not what they were before. If a trans woman likes a man, that doesn't mean they're gay because they were once a man, you know? If an adult likes another adult, that doesn't mean it's weird because one time they were a baby, you know? Like, people change, people grow. You don't stick to one identity most of the time. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of like a lame question because it's like, I guess they're looking at it from the perspective of this is a man, which I don't agree with. No, like, they've transitioned. But yeah, if it's a man liking a man, they're gay. If it's a woman liking a woman, they're gay. If it's a woman liking a man, they're straight. It's easy as, you know? I mean, unless they're, like, bi, or, like, I don't know. Liking trans women doesn't make you gay, though. It makes you sexy. Unless you are a woman, then it's quite gay. But in a good way. I think that's all I have time for today. I think that's all the questions I have today. I think I'll leave it at that. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know some of your trans questions below. I will attempt to answer them as best as I can in another video, if there are any. If you've watched this far, comment your favourite flower. Thank you. Okay, goodbye.